please welcome, with a big round of applause, Mr. Aaron Gabriel Pandi.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. Prefer nyo ba? Hindi naman tayo super dami. Prefer nyo na may mic. Ay, okay, sir. May mic na lang.
Filming?
So, hindi ko na-introduce yung sarili ko pretty much. Sabi naman ni Sir Zik lahat. And I believe I have the qualities naman na dapat paniwalaan. And credible enough naman, I think, yung experience ko para paniwalaan mo this morning. So, again, kumain na ba kayo, guys? Nagkape na kayo? Hindi pa? Kasi medyo mahaba-haba yung araw natin ngayon. So, let's make your time or sa Jeff. So, learning objectives, for one, to understand all the facets of journalism. No? Kasi media resilience, journalism is different when it is taught in the academy. Journalism is different when you see yourself running for an ambush interview just to catch a certain politician or a public figure. Journalism is different when you were in elementary and now you are in high school, when you get to college, and again when you turn pro. Journalism is different. No? So what we want is to give you an overview kung ano ba yung mundong papasukin nyo or posible nyong pasukin after your time here at JRE. No? So number two, to see campus journalism in a bigger perspective. Question, guys, dito yung panlaban ng elementary pa lang sa journalism. Can you raise your hand? Ang dami. And I think yun naman yata yung biggest reason kung bakit sumasali tayo ng campus journalism sa age na yun. Kasi bragging rights yun eh. Diba? Laban ako. Galing ako sa sports writing. Galing ako sa editorial writing. Ganda yung boses ko. Galing ako sa broadcasting. Yun naman yung main reason, diba? Of course, we want you to win the DSPC. We want you to reach RSPC. And if it's God's will, we want you to win the NSPC. You want JRE to be the top performing school here in Bataan, or if possible, sa Region 3. But campus journalism is bigger than you think. All about competition. No, it's a commitment. Kailangan when you start na maging campus journalist, dedicated ka sa craft mo. Kasi ipapractice mo siya everyday. Hindi lang siya kapag may competition. Hindi lang kapag time na to produce a broadsheet. Kasi required ng DepEd. No? So, number three is to be a better storyteller. This for me is the most important one. As I mentioned earlier, came here, and yung iba sa inyo wala pang kain, hindi pa nagkakape. My main goal is, pag alis nyo ng campus, pag uwi nyo sa mga bahay nyo, better storyteller na kayo. Kasi even if you don't pursue journalism in college, magagamit nyo siya kung saan ng field kayo pumunta. Believe me guys, na-experience ko na to. I went in and out of journalism. Pumunta ako sa marketing, pumunta ako sa ganitong field. And now, as a public service ako, I'm with the Department of Budget and Management. Ang layo, di ba? Finance. We're handling the national budget. Pero nagagamit ko yung natutunan ko sa journalism. Though, yes, kinailangan lang mag-learn ng konting economics. But nagagamit ko yung principles of journalism sa ibang fields. So, yun, yung goal natin. Pag uwi nyo ng bahay nyo, better storyteller na kayo. Whether mag-engineering kayo sa college, whether mag-architecture kayo, industry or what. Yun yung goal natin, for you to be a better storyteller. Although may hihingin lang ako sa inyo na ilang para maging fruitful yung discussion natin this morning. So first is to pay attention. Kung ano man yung naka-flash sa screen, kung ano man yung sinasabi ko, pay attention. Kasi hindi ko na ganong nilagyan ng sobrang daming words yung slides. Kasi mas gusto ko mag-focus kayo dun sa sinasabi ko. Okay? And then, number two is to participate. When I ask you guys questions, when I ask you to read kung ano may nasa slide natin, please participate para mas maging fruitful yung discussion. So, start tayo. Okay, what is journalism? According to Cambridge Dictionary, journalism is the work of collecting, writing and publishing news stories and articles in newspapers and magazines or broadcasting them on radio and television. Now, if you guys can see, I highlighted the word. Kita ba? Kita ba? Sorry. Medyo lang. Pero yun, I highlighted the words collecting, writing, and publishing. Pero gusto kong mag-pay attention kayo sa first word, collecting. Kasi when we talk about journalism, the first thing that comes up to our mind is writing. No? Broadcasting, radio, television, newspaper, tabloid, broadsheet. No, but oftentimes, na-overlook yung word na collecting. Pero yan yung pinakakumakain ng oras sa mga journalists. It's collecting news, or what we call beat hunting. So, yung beat, it's B-E-A-T, it's a term in journalism, meaning yan yung territory mo, yung beat mo. For example, yung journalist, kapag nagsa-start siya ng career niya, usually assigned siya sa police beat. Sa police beat siya assigned. So, if I'm based here in Oran, and ang assigned sa akin is police beat, araw-araw nasa police station ako. So, mind you guys, most of the time, doon ko lang bubulin yung time ko. Talking to policemen, talking to yung mga dinadalang criminals doon ko bubulin yung time ko sa pag-collect ng balita. And then later, tatakal natin yung beat hunting. Kasi, as you progress sa career mo, tumataas yun eh. So, from police beat, aakyat ka ng market beat. So, babantayan yung presyo. Punta ka sa market, yung mga tindero, mga tindera. Or, kukunin yung pulse ng taong bayan. Diba? Makatarungan yung presyo ng bigas, yung presyo, for example, ng holiday season, yung presyo ng mga prudas, gano'n. And then next is, according to APA, journalism is the activity of gathering, assessing, creating, and presenting news and information to the public. Facts are pieces of information that are known or proved to be. Facts are pieces of information that are known or proved to be true. So if you guys will notice, may in-introduce na another word sa APA. But if collecting is to gathering, writing is publishing is to presenting, may present na another word sa APA, which is assessing. Bakit important si assessing? Bakit important mag-assess ng information ng isang journalist? Kasi it can affect your leadership. For example, I had this interview in college, and so far, that's the longest interview na napuntahan ko. I interviewed someone, and sobrang ganda na naging interview namin. Umabot siya ng 1 hour and 45 minutes. So, imagine, paano matatranscribe yung 1 hour and 45 minutes? Paano ko isa-squeeze in lahat ng information sa isang article sa 1 hour and 45 minutes? So, as a journalist, kailangan mag-link ka, mag-assess ng information kung dapat ba siya isama. Kasi for example, yung lead mo, yung second paragraph mo, yes, maganda. Binasa siya ng leaders mo. But pagdating ng third paragraph, hindi ko naman kailangan mabasa yan, hindi ko naman kailangan ng information yan eh. So hindi na magpo-proceed yung writer, yung leaders mo sa fourth and succeeding paragraphs. Kasi hindi lahat ng tao may enough time to read that long, to listen that long. Yun nga, diba? Mababa yung attention span ng mga tao ngayon. Kaya kailangan mas squeeze in mo yung necessary information, lahat na kailangan nilang malaman sa story mo. And then, this definition by Cambridge Dictionary is actually outdated. The work of collecting, writing, and publishing news stories and articles in newspapers and magazines or broadcasting them on the radio and television. Guys, bakit outdated yung definition ng Cambridge Dictionary? Tingnan mo. Tawa ka pa guys. Sir, your name? Alan po. Alan? Okay. Alan, tingin mo ba outdated yung definition ng Cambridge Dictionary? Sir, tayo ba? working into? Ay, okay, sige. Sige, I'll explain. Guys, Mayor Rizal is kaya siya outdated kasi journalism is evolving. No? Right now, we have mobile journalism. Journalists are using technology, social media, sites to reach their audience, especially younger ones, especially yung generation nyo. No? Kasi if you can notice, Rappler is utilizing TikTok. Inquirer, Philstar, they're using TikTok. They even use yung mga trending videos, trending music. Philstar is using the music of Hep-Abi. Diba? Manila Bulletin is using the music of Neymar. Bakit? Para mag-viral, diba? Para ma-reach yung younger audience. Kasi yun yung trip usually ng mga kabataan. And then I just want to highlight this news. Have you guys wondered why news is called news? Bakit yung mga nangyayaring events sa atin tawag sa kanyang news? Or those important events, bakit tawag sa kanyang news? Actually, hindi ko rin alam. Kasi wala naman talagang origin yung word news. But a college prof of mine who does. Kaya siya news, kasi nangyayari siya north, east, west, south. I mean, hindi siya totoo. But it makes sense, right? News is everywhere. The question is, pwede mo bang balita kahit ano? Yes or no? Tingin mo pwede. Ang tanong. Pwede. As long as pasok siya sa 8 values of newsworthiness. Ano ba yung 8 values of newsworthiness? Ito yung ginagamit nating pamantayan para malaman natin kung newsworthy ba yung isang story. So as mahit na yung isang band or isang poll ng newsworthiness, pwede na siya ibalita. And there are stories na sobrang laki, iba-ibang values yung lihit niya. For example, the election. First is impact. Ito yung first principle or the first news value, impact. Gano'ng maraming tao yung naapektuhan ng story nito. So most likely, yung mga issues na pasok dyan is national issues or even international news as long as naapektuhan yung maraming tao. So, for example, COVID. Marcos wins presidential election. Ang lahat ng Pilipino or even Filipinos outside the Philippines, mga OFWs, maapektuhan din. Self-explanatory naman na. First is impact. Yung pinaka-consider natin. Second is timeliness. Kahit hindi sobrang laki ng impact niya as long as yung isang story. For example, this one. Mga humahabol sa pamuli ng paputok at sa power. Hindi naman malaki yung impact niya. Wala naman tayong, personally ako, wala naman ang bakit. Nabibili pa rin sa power, wala. But then timely siya, kasi nirelease siya ng Christmas. And there are Filipinos na fan pa rin ng firecrackers. Right? So, hindi na siya nawawala taon-taon. Kaya, timely siya every December. DTI releases 2024 Christmas Noche Buena price guide. Timely siya kasi, as you can see, it was published November 17, 2024. Timely, bare months na. So, binabantayan na yung presyo ng mga pinihit. Third is conflict. Kasi bang may ayaw ng away? Diba? Pilipino, likas na chismosa yan eh. Diba? Dito pa lang sa school, uy, nag-away daw si ganito, nag-away daw si ganyan. Diba? So, kasama yung conflict. And biggest example is yung pagkatalo sa West Philippine Sea. Diba? Yung pinakamalaking conflict na meron tayo ngayon. And of course, how can we forget the Vice President against the President of the Philippines? Diba? Conflict. But then, like I told you kanina guys, may mga stories na sobrang laki na, iba't ibang news values na hinihit niya. For example, VP Sara against President Marcos. It's a conflict, but then again, may impact siya sa ating lahat. Ganun siya kalaki. dapat siyang balita. Number 4 is currency. Anything na may kinalaman sa pera. Mapa-economy, palitan ng peso, against dollar. Even this one, you're not food poor if you spend at least 64 pesos daily for meals, according to NED. According to Secretary R.C. Balisacan. Bakit siya dapat ibalita? Kasi this is what the government thinks, no? Kailangan malaman siya ng mga Pilipino. Ang iniisip ng gobyerno, kapag gumagastos ka ng 64 pesos araw-araw, hindi ka mahirap. I mean, at least you're not food poor. Diba? And kailangan siya malaman ng taong bayan. Kasi of course, mahirap yun. Sobrang hirap budgetin ng 64 pesos per family. Next is the bizarre one. Usually, napapasabi tayo na nice, congrats. Bumaba yung kahirapan dahil sa balitang yan. For example, imahe ni Mama Mary, tumubos ang bunga ng mais, nagpapagaling ng sakit, nilagros ang haba. Yung mga out of this world na bagay, newsworthy pa rin siya. Kasi nakukuha niyo yung leaders eh. Next, giant toaster building in Negros earns Guinness World Record. Diba? Like, sino po magpapatayo ng building na rooster? Diba? Then this one, yung mga one-of-one talaga, only in the Philippines. Unang naitalang buntis na mega mouth shark natagpuan sa Pinas. Yung mga ganyang klase ng balita, yung mga pang Guinness World of Record. The next is human interest. Human interest is basically anything under the sun. As long as may pakiyong tao, pwede natin siyang balita. Example, iPhone 16, tech, fitness activities, sports. This one, sinigang, inasal na manok, among best Filipino food, balut, named as worst by Ace Atlas. Disregarding food, Filipino cuisine. No? For sure, may pakita yung mga Pilipino dyan. Kasi balut, bias yung mga Pilipino sa balut eh. Kahit sinasabi ng ibang bansa, kagilid yung balut. Para sa atin, masarap pa rin. Right? So, basically anything under the sun, guys. As long as tingin nyo makukuha yung attention ng leaders nyo, anything under the sun, pwede. Basically anything under the sun, guys. Part siya ng human interest. Next one is prominence. No? Ito yung madalas natin nakikita sa comment section. Ano bang ambag niya sa ekonomiya ng Pilipinas? Anong paka namin kay Jack Roberto, tsaka kay Barbie Forteza? Guys, aminin natin ako sa hindi, may fans sila. Public figures sila. Kung tayo wala tayo na may bagong show, si David De Campo or si Daniel Padilla, but yung fans nila may pake sila. No? So, yun yung target audience mo, yun yung reach mo, yung mga fans nila, or even yung bashers nila. Yun yung target mo. So, for example, another perfect example of prominence. Ina ni Carlos Yulo humingi ng tawad sa anak. Nawala na yung focus ng tao sa pagkapanalo ni Carlos Yulo. Mind you guys, the Philippine flag was not even shown during the Treaty of Paris. Walang Filipino doon. But pagdating ng Olympics, pinili yung Philippine National Anthem. That's how important it is. No? Parang nakuha natin yung respeto. Ganun siya kalaki. Nakuha natin yung respeto ng ibang bansa sa atin. But then, nawala yun. Bakit? Kasi yung issue na punta sa nanay ni Carlos Yulo. Mas sikat na yata yung nanay niya kaysa dun sa trainer niya no? Kasi doon na nag-focus yung tao for like a week or two. Puro nanay ni Carlos Yulo, nanay ni Carlos Yulo. And we have to write that kasi may pa kayong mga tao. And then, this one, another one, breakup ng Katniel. Of course, Katniel yung, I think, yung pinakamalaking fandom. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not following entertainment beat. But, Katniel yung pinakamalaking fandom sa Philippines. So, very important na sulatan pa rin yun kahit na wala kang pake sa Katniel. Kasi one thing you have to remember, guys, the story is not about you. If you're a journalist, the story is not about you. Hindi yung opinion mo, yung masusulat mo, unless you're an opinion writer, you're an editorial writer. If you're writing for entertainment or human interest, hindi opinion mo yung importante. Yung balita, yung tao, yun yung importante. And then, the last one, ito na yung last na news value. Actually, sinadya ko siya kasi I think ito yung pinaka-important for campus journalists. Proximity. Anything na nangyayari within Jose Rizal Institute Oral is part of your job to cover. No? Foundation Day, intrams, may dalawang estudyante ng suntukan sa labas, kasama sa trabaho niyo yun. Interview the principal, interview the students, anything within Jose Rizal Institute, Jose Rizal Institute, part yan ng trabaho mo. I was talking to Sir Zeke earlier na nagulat ako, dami na pala yung members ng The Visa Life. Ganun na siya kadami. Which is why pwede natin palawakin ko yung proximity. No? Nabanggit ko earlier, the word beat, no? Territory siya ng mga journalists. So, if some of you, for example, taga Mulawin, pwedeng si The Visa Life magkaroon ng Mulawin beat. No? Anything na nangyayari sa Mulawin, kayo yung magsusulat, kayo yung magre-report. Maganda yun. Kasi lalawak yung network ng The Visa Life, lalawak yung coverage ng The Visa Life. But the main focus is syempre kung ano may nangyayari sa institute, sa GRI. However, ito rin yung na-mention ko kanina na campus journalism is more than just a competition. If you will cover everything inside the campus or within the proximity of the campus, kailangan dedicated ka. Yung iba, hindi uuwi ng maaga kasi you have to write a story about this event. You know? This is the statement we're trying to break when it comes to campus journalism. Na hindi lang siya about competition. Yes, of course, like what I said earlier, we want you to reach the RSPC, for you to win the DSPC, for GRI to be the top performing school. But then, it's more than just a competition, guys. Being a campus journalist requires dedication, commitment, araw-araw. Kailangan pagpapasok ng school, The Visa Life ako. Member ako ng The Visa Life. I should act properly. No, doon nagsistart yun. Paano ba mag-act na sa student journalist? No? Hindi ka pwede makita, natakbo dyan sa campus, nag-iingay. No, you should act as a journalist. No? So, yun, we have 8 news values. Again, first is impact. Second, timeliness. Third is conflict. Currency, the bizarre, human interest, prominence, and proximity. So, naaral natin yung values. Exercise tayo konti. Try to guess kung anong news value yung present sa mga headlines na to. First, Magalong Defense Baguio's type deposits. Says city earned 332 million since 2018. Sige nga, check natin yung knowledge ng EIC. Magalong Defense Baguio's type deposits. Says city earned 332 million since 2018. Ito yung wala yung news values na present sa headline na ito. Yung isa pa. Yes, sugating, right? Very good. Anything na may kinalaman sa pera is currency. No? And then, the biggest one present here is proximity. Keyword, Baguio. Baka siya sultan kasi may pa kayong mga taga-Baguio about this. Next, fatty liver is forever, and other myths about liver bomb. Good morning. What's your name? Fat Livers Forever, other myths about liver the bomb. Tingin mo anong news value present sa headline nito? Okay lang. Ma'am, what's your name? Very good. Kasi it is about health. No? Anything under the sun. Health, sports, technology, food. Pasok siya sa iyong interest. Very good. Next. Philippine Navy holds exercise near disputed shoal amid standoff with China. Yun guys, news value present dyan. Sir, what's your name?
Jake po. Sa tingin ko po, colorful. Impact.
Kasi it's a national issue concerning China and the Philippines. Malaki yung impact niya. And again, like what I said earlier, yung pinakamalaking example ng conflict is yung sigalaw sa West Philippine Sea. Next. Rizal meets Sherlock Holmes amid Jack the Ripper murders in this horror story of Pinoy author. Tingnan nyo guys, yung value present yan. Parang may idea sa sa'yo. Sure, what's your name? The Bizarre daw po. Sino sabi? Sir, tingin mo bakit The Bizarre? Sorry, what's your name?
Tingin mo bakit The Bizarre yung spot na siya?
Sir, idea ko lang.
Paano pasok yung idea ng The Bizarre?
Parang magkaiba po sila ng timing. Si Jose Rizal at Sherlock at Jack the Ripper. Kung mapigilan mo po sila, posible pong fiction.
Very good. The Bizarre. Tama. Yung present and use value dito. Bakit? Kasi, what are the odds na naman na mag-meet si Jose Rizal? I mean, yes, there are allegations na si Jose Rizal the Ripper, but what are the odds na mag-meet sila? No? Pero, may isa pa. Hindi lang siya The Bizarre. May human interest din. Bakit? Kasi may fans si Rizal. May fans sa Sherlock Holmes. And may mga Filipino na nagko-follow ng history. So part siya ng human interest. Last one. Sian Gaza. Bakit binabalitan si Sian Gaza? Eh, di ba may kaso yan? So dapat ang binabalita sa kanya about yung kaso niya. Pero bakit yung opinion about Bini? Tingin mo nga, bakit yung opinion ni Sian Gaza about Bini yung versus story?
Kasi po marami din pong na-viewers siya.
Right? Kasi Sian Gaza is a public figure. Considered as a public figure na guys. Sa lawak ng influence si Sian Gaza, he's already considered a public figure. So, prominence. And another one, we find some Bini, of course. We care for the group. So, another audience dito is yung mga followers nila. So, as you can see guys, sobrang lawak ng newsworthiness. No? Possible na lahat ng news ay lahat ng stories, ibalita as long as it's newsworthy. So, the state recognize yung importance ng journalism up to the campus level. Hence, the creation of a law that is intended for the development of campus journalism, which is The Republic Act 7079, also known as the Campus Journalism Act of 1991. Tagal na, no? Dapat yata release na to. Dapat yata may mga amendments na sa Campus Journalism Act. Kasi like what I've mentioned earlier, journalism is evolving. But then sige, usapan natin ng Campus Journalism Act of 1991. Sa mismong law, may 12 sections dyan, but I only picked 4 na tingin magiging beneficial for you guys. So, kailangan alam nyo. So, Section 2 states that the state shall uphold and protect the freedom of the press even at the campus level, and to promote development and the growth of campus journalism as a means of strengthening ethical values, encouraging critical and creative thinking, and developing moral character and personal discipline of the Filipino youth. As I said earlier, guys, campus journalism is more than just writing. No? It molds yung character mo as a person. It molds yung principles mo. Kumbaga, nagmamature ka as a person, as an individual when you enter campus journalism. So, next is Section 4. A student publication is published by the student body through an editorial board and publication staff composed of students selected through fair and competitive examinations. So, kaya tayo may LSPC to salain, no? Kung sino ba yung pwedeng pumasok sa secondary level. Kasi, mind you guys, not because campus journalism ng elementary level, kaya mo na rin sa secondary level. Kasi iba na yung dedication, iba na yung competitiveness sa secondary level. Kung sa elementary level, kaya mo first place, district, mas mahirap na siya gawin sa division, right? After secondary level. And like what I said earlier, guys, we want to give you an overview mundo na pwede kong pasukin after your time here in GLI. No? So, kwento ko lang, when I entered college, of course, the goal is to enter the student publication. That has always been my goal, no? Since elementary. Sabi ko, from elementary to college, dapat part of the student publication. Kasi gusto ko kung paano ko nag-mature as a person. Kaya, as much as possible, gusto ko ng campus journalism. So, when the Adamson Chronicle, the official student publication of Adamson University, announced na may hiring sila, I joined agad. But then, hindi ko alam na ganun ka-rigorous yung pagsala when it comes to tertiary level. When they announced na may hiring, so it was like, they gave a topic for writers, and then they asked us to submit a portfolio. So, sulat ako, I think it was an opinion article. Sulat ka ng opinion article, and then submit ka ng portfolio mo. Thank God, nakapasa sa second screening. May second screening, yung examination. I entered the examination room by around 9 a.m. I left 7 p.m. Hindi ko matapos yung exam. I quitted basically kasi hindi mo nakaya. Ganun ka-rigorous yung pagsala sa tertiary level. Ano ba yung tsura ng examination? First, meron siyang general information. No? Yung general information is about the university. So, kung saan ang university yung papasukan nyo, sa college, expect nyo na. And i-train nyo na siya. Dito pa lang sa general. Dapat kilala nyo kung sino yung principal, kilala nyo kailan, basically yung basics. Kailan pinatag yung school, yung university, sino yung admin for this concern, for student affairs, for internal, external, finance, kailangan alam nyo. Kasi, paano kapag doon kayo na-assign? Paano kapag na-assign ka sa vice president, let's say vice president or student affairs? Hindi mo nga kilala si sir or si ma'am. No? So, kailangan may basic knowledge na about
the institution na papasukan niya. And then the second part of the examination is basically that as yung writing capabilities. Pinasulat kami ng news, literary, features, sports, editorial, lahat ng klase ng article pinasulat sa amin. So, end of the story, nakapasa naman ako thanks to the editorial section and sports section. Nakapasa naman ako, and then may third screening pa, which is the interview. Ganun siya ka-rigorous. Kaya better if goal ko na pumasok ng student publication when you get to college, prepare na kayo right now, ngayon pa lang sa high school level. No? So, Section 7, a member of the publication staff must maintain his or her status as student in order to retain membership. A student shall not be expelled or suspended solely on the basis of articles he or she has written or on the basis of the performance of his or her duties in the student publication. Focus on the titles. A member must maintain his or her status as student in order to retain membership. Guys, kaya mo nang yung word na student journalist. Student muna kayo, bago kayo maging journalist. Remember that maintain good academic standing, no? Kasi hindi kayo pwede lumaban na may balik kayong grades, no? Kung yun man yung initial goal nyo. Hindi kayo pwede pumasok ng student publication kung hindi kayo ma-attend ng classes nyo. As I said earlier, sa campus journalism, hindi lang yung writing prowess yung ini-improve natin. Hindi lang yung ability nyo for broadcasting yung hinahasa natin, but also yung values nyo as a person. No? So, kahit may intensive training, make sure na nagsasubmit kayo ng requirements. No? Kasi, later discuss ko pa naman, but to give a heads up na lang, pwede kong suspend. No? When you get to college level, nadala niyo yung practice na kapag may training or kapag may kailangan cover, magkakat ka ng classes, hindi ka magpapaalam sa professor mo, sa teacher mo, ikakat ka ng classes, pwede kang suspend. Pwede kang ibagsak ng prof, basically. No? So, be accountable. Be accountable sa mga actions mo. Section 8. Competitions, conferences, and seminars shall be held at the institutional, divisional, and regional levels, culminating with the holding of the annual National Elementary, Secondary, or Tertiary School Press Conference in places of historical and or cultural interest in the country. So, yun. So, dito lumakot naman na the elementary level na bago yung competition. So, up to the tertiary, meron pa rin naman actually. But hindi na yan yung main focus eh. Later, i-discuss ko bakit hindi na competition yung focus sa tertiary level. Guys, questions? Sorry. Forgot to ask. May questions ba? Or so far, klaro naman lahat? Klaro naman lahat? Okay. Okay, continue tayo guys. Remember, being a campus journalist is a privilege. No? Kaya nga tayo may batas sa content. It's a privilege guys. Hindi siya binibigay lang. Kaya may LSEC tayo. No? So, take note na privilege kayo to be a campus journalist. Dahil may privileges tayo nakukuha from being a campus journalist, may mga rules and responsibilities din tayo. Okay? Journalists of ethics tayong sinusunod. No? So, number 1, can you read?
Number 1, I shall scrupulously report and interpret the news, taking care not to suppress essential facts, nor to distort the truth by omission or improper emphasis. I recognize the duty to err the other side and the duty to correct substantial errors promptly.
Thank you. Guys, kapag campus journalist tayo, or basically any journalist, no? For example, there's an issue between the Vice President and the President. Hindi pwedeng side lang ng President yung kukunin natin. Hindi pwedeng side lang ni Vice President yung kukunin natin. Kailangan for the public to be completely aware of what's happening. You have to present both sides. No? Hindi pwedeng may kinikilingan tayong side. Yes, I know lahat tayo dito may political views. Lahat tayo may opinions sa kahit anong bagay. But it is your job as a journalist, no, not to be biased. No? Again, the story is not about you. It's not about your opinion. It's not about your say about the topic. It's about the story and how you will present it to your audience. Second, ano ba? You need the second. Sige, okay lang. Number 2, I shall not violate confidential information given me in the exercise of my calling. Now, remember guys, kapag mag-i-interview kayo ng isang tao, may karapatan siya na tumanggi na i-record mo. So, mahalaga na tumigil kang book, mahalaga na kaya mong i-visualize yung sinasabi ng interview. Kasi, hindi laging papayag yung subject mo na magpa-record, even sa school level. No? I already encountered this when I was in college. There was a huge controversy sa university namin and hindi pumayag magpa-record yung admin. What I did, wala, tinandaan ko lang. No? So, you have to be sharp. No? Kapag nag-i-interview, hindi pwedeng pinakikinggan mo lang basta nasabi. Kailangan binivisualize mo siya sa utak mo. Who, what, when, where, how. Kailangan binivisualize mo sa utak mo. Kapag may who, what, when, where, how, that's where you do a follow-up question. And kapag sinabi na hindi, huwag mo muna ilabas to. Huwag mo muna ilabas yung information na to kasi confidential o kaya ayaw natin malaman muna ng public. Karapatan nila yun. And as journalists, na huwag muna ilabas yung balita. Hindi dahil gusto natin ayaw gawin yun. Hindi guys, there's more to it. Kumbaga, you have to abide by the rules. Kasi like what I said earlier, student lists. No? Nauna yung pagiging student and under the jurisdiction of this institute or kung saan mang university bilang. Even kapag pro na kayo. No? That's why we have this thing called embargo. No? Kapag sinabi ng media affairs officer ng, let's say, Office of the President na, guys, embargo muna yung article. When we say embargo, huwag nyo muna ilalabas. There's a specific time kung saan pwede nyo nang ilabas yung balita. For example, hypothetically speaking, mag-step down si VP Sara. For example, mag-step down siya as VP. No? But before that, ang gusto ng office niya is mag-a-announce siya, magla-live siya by 7 p.m. No? Pero sinabi nga sa press by 5 p.m. No? So naka-embargo yun. Hindi pwedeng 5 p.m. mag-post yung journalist or magsusulat si journalist, VP Sara resigns. Hindi pwede yun. Hindi dapat mangyari yun. Kasi isa mga principles ng pagiging journalist is don't break confidentiality. And later, i-discuss pa natin more on the interpersonal relationship kung bakit dapat mag-maintain ka ng connections, ng network sa pagiging journalist. And even sa pagiging students, no? Be friendly, guys. I know competitive kayo, especially pagdating sa mga press con. No, I know
Yung iba sa inyo, baka pagdating sa Preston, pinagdidilatan ng kalaban, no? Sinusungitan ng kalaban. Hindi ganun guys, be friendly kasi hindi nyo alam kung kailan nyo kakailanganin yung tulong nila, no? I know it's better to be prepared, pero better pa rin to be friendly, act accordingly, no? Properly. Kung paano dapat as a student journalist, no? Sa battlefield, no? Katulad ng sinasabi ng prof namin before, yung field, yan, yung press room, yung newsroom, battlefield yan, lahat ng journalist na nag-aagawan sa balita, no? But try thinking, good relate with your competitors. Next, number 3, I shall resort only to fair and honest methods in my effort to obtain news, photographs, and documents, and shall properly identify myself as a representative of the press when obtaining any personal interview intended for the publication. Request for an interview, for example, with the Mayor of Morani, you have to properly introduce yourself kung saan publication ka galing, and yung intention mo for the interview. But then, like what I said to you guys, journalism is different when it's taught in the academy and kapag sa field ka na. Kapag ang interview na, wala, there's no time for you to introduce yourself. Ma'am, sir, ako si ganito, I'm from the Philippine Star. Wala nang ganun. Talagang, you immediately pull the trigger. Sir, ginawa niyo po ba yun? Sangkot po ba kayo sa, we need to ambush interviews. And then, this one, I shall resort only to fair, honest methods in effort to obtain news. Of course, as much as possible, try to be professional when obtaining information. But then I have this story nung friend ko, nung college. No? He's doing police beat. So, syempre, yung mga policemen natin, hindi natin naiiwasan, lahat naman ng tao, minsan masama yung gising. No? So, ang ginagawa niya, kapag medyo masungit yung mga police, dinadala niya ng pandesal sa umaga. O kaya, dadala niya ng Starbucks. No? Parang sweet. Pero, kung yan yung giveaway sa atin na magpa-interview sa inyo, sometimes you have to do those things, no? Dalhin silang pandesal, dalhin silang pizza, kapag professional na kayo. But then, kapag student journalist naman, of course, you have to be professional lang. Siyempre, naiintindihan naman ng mga yan na students pa lang kayo. Just be professional, no? Be polite. Importante yun. Be polite when asking questions. Be polite kapag introduce ka lang sa sarili mo. Don't imply some things. Negative na nagawa yung isang, let's say, isang student. Don't pull the trigger immediately. No? Importante sa student journalist yung may empathy ka. No? Ipakita naiintindihan mo ito yung nangyari. No? Hindi naman ibig sabihin na agree ka sa negative na ginawa niya. It's just that kailangan maipakita sa kanya na yes, naiintindihan ito yung nangyari. Can you tell me more about it? No? Para maintindihan ko, para maintindihan ng tao yung nangyari and yung side mo. Diba? Next. I shall not let personal motives or interests influence me in the performance of my duties, nor shall I accept or offer any present, gift, or other consideration of a nature which may cast doubt on my professional integrity. No? Like what I said earlier, guys, like yung sinasabi, it's not about, I know, truth or story, pero walang pakinggan interesting about it unless you're an opinion writer or editorial writer. So present yun ang story in the best way possible. No? And then this one. This one is for professionals na. Nor shall I accept or offer any present, gift, or other consideration of a nature that may cast down my professional integrity. Hindi natin may iwasan na yung ibang institutions, when journalists cover them, nagbibigay sila ng token. No? That's the reality, guys. Hindi naman ibig sabihin na hindi natin ipapakita yung mga sinasabi natin. Pero, kung yan yung magpapatotoo, no? Yung intention mo for the publication, no? Yung intention mo for the publication,
pwedeng cash, pwedeng in kind, iba-iba. Pero that's the reality. No? So, that's yun. Mag-give in ka sa request nila. Kasi usually, it comes with requests yung tokens na ganyan. Baka pwedeng ganito yung angle mo sa article. Baka pwedeng pag nag-press ko tayo later, these are the questions na tanungin mo. No? That's the reality, guys, of a journalist. Number 6, I shall not commit any act of plagiarism. No, yan guys, sobrang malaking sampal yan sa pagiging journalist. If not, commit ka ng plagiarism. No? As a student, ayaw na natin nagpa-plagiarize. Gano'n kalaking consequences yung matatanggap nyo if student pa lang kayo nag-comment kayo ng plagiarism. What more kapag journalist ka? No? Parang niloko yung sarili mo. No? Committing plagiarism, iba yung having the same news to copying the exact words of the news. No? Kasi for example, Philippine election, you're gonna write about the effects of the president. Of course, lahat ng balita naman, Marcos wins. Diba? Marcos Jr. wins. But then, paano mo ipepresent ng yung story mo na yun yung babasahin ng mga tao? Kailangan find the way, find the best lead, find the best headline na pag nakita ng audience mo, okay, babasahin mo. Mas maganda yung atake ng writer na to. No? For example, there's a basketball game. Isa lang naman yung result eh. So for sure, parang pareho lang kayo ng susulat. Pero, iba-iba yung way kung paano mo present yung story, right? May iba't ibang klase ng lead. We have the traditional lead. We have yung 2 nouns and then 1 verb. We have yung 1 noun and then 2 verbs, subject. And then may quotation din tayo. So, maraming pwedeng ways kung paano magiging enticing yung isang article. I shall not in any manner ridicule, cast aspersions, or degrade any person by reason of sex, creed, religious belief, political conviction, cultural, and ethnic origin. For example, Feast of the Black Nazarene. For example, hindi ka Catholic and against ka dun sa practice nila. But then you were assigned to cover the Feast of the Black Nazarene. Again, stories not about you. Interview people, no? Get their perspective. No, kung hindi yung perspective ng mga tao sa story mo, interview them. No? Know their story. Kasi if you interview people, doon nagkakabuhay yung article mo eh. For example, si Mel Champo. Nag-report si Mel Champo or kung sino mga reporter. Sinabi niya ng balita, walang any clip, walang any audio, flash, boring. Kasi sinasabi niya lang yung story eh. Diba? Pero kapag nag-report si Mel Champo and then there's an interview ni Senator Cheese, Senator Cheese Escudero. Diba? Better. Kasi nagkakaroon ng buhay yung article mo. And then next, I shall shoot persons accused of crime of being innocent until proven otherwise. Yung sinasabi ko guys na don't imply, no, kahit na may balita. Kaya nga ginagamit yung word na, allegedly. No, sir, to reports who allegedly stole the national budget, yung ganyan. Huwag ganyan guys. I mean, that's how you do it. Use the words allegedly and ikaw na favorite ni Justice O, yung umano. No, hindi pwedeng sa interview or sa press room, ina-assume mo na. No? Of course, we have our opinion, but your responsibility is to know the truth. No? Your responsibility is the truth. Again, journalists are watchdog. You have to remember that. Next, I shall exercise caution in publishing names of minors and women involved in criminal cases so that they may not unjustly lose their standing in society. No? We have to be careful din guys, especially with mine, sa mga photos. Diba? Kailangan learn nila. Kasi ingatan natin yung rights nila. Next, I shall not take unfair advantage of a fellow journalist. Basically, yun yung sabi ko kanina, be friendly, no? Maintain good relationship with your fellow journalists. Next, I shall accept only tasks as are compatible with the integrity and dignity of my profession, invoking the conscience clause with duties imposed on me conflict with the voice of my conscience. So, same lang din. Gusto mga nagbibigay ng reward sa mga journalists, no? Hindi pwedeng maapektuhan yung konsensya mo as a journalist dahil lang may binigay sa'yo na isang bagay. Next, I shall comport myself in public or while performing my duties as journalist in such manner as to maintain dignity of my profession. When in doubt, decency should be watchword. No? For campus journalists, guys, like what I said kanina, remember na pagpasok ko ng school, journalist ako. No? Hindi ako basta estudyante lang. May hawak ako na title. No? Campus journalist ako. From the EIC up to contributors, no? You should act as a student journalist. Act properly. No? Malaking responsibility yung pagiging isang student journalist. And you can afford na magkaroon ng issue kasi it will damage the reputation of the publication eh. Remember, hawak mo yung pangalan ng publication kahit nasa part ka ng campus or even outside campus. For example, you cover stories sa plaza. Rizalite ako, dalawa yung pangalan ng JRI. You have to remember that guys, na kahit anong gawin nyo. For example, guidance ka, guidance ka kayo ng Bennett. Search yung Bennett ko yung guidance counselor. Pinapunta kayo ng Bennett, dahil Rizalite ka pa naman. Tapos ganyan. Remember, dala niyo yung pangalan ng publication. Elementary, high school, jet, kapag nag-pro na kayo, dala niyo yung pangalan ng publication. And the next question regarding the code of ethics, kailangan ba? Pinapractice? Yes, palagi. No? No ifs, no buts. Kailangan pinapractice palagi. Journalists explain everything, but we have this journalists aside from the code of ethics. So I believe in the profession of journalism. I believe that public journal is a public trust. Question guys, dito sa part ng public journal is public trust, kasama ba yung student publications? Kasama ba yung campus journalism pagdating sa usapin ng public trust? Sir, yun mo. Kasama ba ang student publications sa public trust? Yes po. Yes, bakit? Sige tayo ako. Maraming student publications. Bakit kasali ang campus publications sa yung journalism is public trust? Estudyante ka pa lang naman, bakit kailangan kasali yung ginagawa sa public trust? Hindi ba estudyante ka pa lang?
Para po sa akin, kailangan po mag-keep your trust sa mga tao.
Bakit kasali yung campus publication sa journalism is public trust? Hindi ba estudyante ka pa lang naman? Diba?
So, sir, as a journalist po or student journalist po, yung sinabi niyo po journalism is public trust ay kailangan po yun yung ano po kami, students po. Kasi po, hindi po kayo magiging journalist kung hindi po totoo yung mga pinapublish niyo pong mga articles or mga ginagawa niyo pong mga paragraphs.
Right, tama. Palagi, you should always seek to for another answer. Ma'am, why do you think campus journalism is included sa usapin ng public trust? What's your name?
Hana.
Dahil nagre-rely po sa amin yung ibang tao para malaman po yung ongoing or past events na kaya kailangan po reliable po kami at pagpapagkatiwalaan.
Sino yung mga tao na to na nagre-rely sa student publication?
Mostly po is yung student body.
Aside from the student body, tingin nyo guys, ano pa yung mga tao na nagre-rely sa student publication? Ano tingin nyo?
Pwede pong mga pamilya po namin, yung iba pong tao outside the school.
Right? Yung mga families nyo guys, yung parents nyo. For example, the topic about tuition fee, diba? Concern yan ng parents nyo. Right? So, journalists, campus journalism, kasama siya sa usapin ng public trust dahil number one, hindi lang students yung audience nyo. Students, parents, number three, the teachers. No? Siyempre, kapag may achievements yung mga teachers or activities na ginagawa nila, we cover them, right? Teachers. Number four, alumni. Right? Kapag may achievements, yung isang alumni, we cover them. Diba? Hindi lang naman yung mga students, present students, yung may pake or may concern about the institution. Of course, pati yung alumni. I'm not sure if JRS Alumni Association, but kasama sila sa mga kinikater ng student publication. So, the student body, of course, the focus, syempre, is the student body. Kasi sa kanila talaga kayo pinipili nagsiserve. Second is the parent. Then third is the administration, the teachers, everyone part ng faculty. And then last is yung alumni. No? So that's the reason why campus journalism is part of public trust. And next, I believe that clear thinking and clear statement, accuracy and fairness are fundamental to good journalism. I believe that a journalist should write only what he holds in his heart to be true. Tama, mali? Dapat ba ang isusulat lang ng journalist is yung sa kung tingin niyang tama? Tingin mo? Actually, dito nagko-contradict Dito nagko-contradict yung how journalism is taught in the academy versus actually in real life. No, kasi, for example, general information naman, general knowledge naman na for example, this politician commits this act. And then, when nag-hold siya ng press court, sabi niya hindi. Hindi naman ginawa yan. But then, as a journalist, as a person, alam mo na ginawa niya. Ano yung susulat mo? Ginawa niya? Hindi. Kasi hindi ko sa press ko diba? For example, headline mo, possible to be mayor denies allegation of corruption. Ganun. Hindi mayor commits corruption. Ganyan. Kailangan kung ano yung present na information, yun yung susulat mo. Hindi dahil yung pinaniniwalaan mo lang. No? Nagpunta tayo sa iba yung journalism sa field. Parang titimbangin mo talaga. Titimbangin mo yung tama at mali. But doon ka dapat sa gitna. Ano yung dapat mong gawin? No? Mali yung ginawa, tama yung ginawa, ano yung opinion mo? Doon ka sa gitna. Ano yung dapat gawin? No? But it's not bad to be an advocate, guys. Remember, it's not bad to be an advocate. No? You can advocate for freedom, for women and children, peace, no? Importante rin yun na hindi ka nalulunod na masyado sa pagiging rational. No? Kailangan, syempre, as much as you want to be objective ka, syempre, you also cultivate yung opinions mo, yung morals. Okay? Next is, I believe that suppression of news for any consideration other than the welfare of society is indefensible. I believe that no one should write as a journalist what he would not say as a gentleman. The bribery by one's own pocketbook is much as to be avoided as bribery by the pocketbook of another. That individual responsibility may not be escaped by reading another's instructions or another's evidence. I explained basically kasi it's different from what we practice, no? But it's important to know na may mga sinusunod pa rin tayo sa pagiging campus journalist. So dito mag-focus, how to run a campus publication, the roles and responsibilities of the editorial board and staff members. Yung journalists, basahin ko. Third time of focus, how to run a campus publication. The roles and responsibilities of the editorial board and staff members. Actually, it's running a student publication in again, different when we were in elementary, high school, tertiary level. Sobrang magkakaiba. So, ano yung nag-separate? Is yung pagkakaroon ng constitution and bylaws. Ano yung constitution and bylaws? It is a governing document that outlines the principles and structure of the publication. It also contains the rights and responsibilities of the publication and its members. Basically, kung isang bansa may constitution, kung may saligang batas, o yung meron yung isang campus publication. Ito yung dapat sinusunod ng bawat members ng campus publication. Now, sino ba gumagawa ng constitution and bylaws? Sino ba dapat gumagawa? Si principal ba? Si EIC ba? Yung dapat gumagawa? Ang gumagawa ng constitution and bylaws, guys, is the group or the board that is mandated by the Republic Act 7079. And that is the editorial board. Okay? Ano ba yung editorial board? Of course, syempre yung ilan sa inyo very familiar na with the term editorial board. The editorial board is the decision-making body of the publication. RA 7079 states that for elementary and high school level, kailangan kasama sa school paper advisor sa editorial board. Bakit? Kasi kailangan hindi pa kumpleto. Hindi pa kumpleto yung technical knowledge ng mga students writing kapag elementary and high school. And then for tertiary, qualified students na lang. That's how free is yung sa tertiary level. But then, important pa rin. I believe na important na magkaroon ng technical advisor pagdating ng tertiary level. Kasi important na may nag-review pa rin ng gawa mo as a student. No? Even kahit EIC ka na ikaw yung head ng publication, kailangan mo nag-review pa rin ng gawa mo. Hindi pwede dahil yung EIC ko yung pinakamagaling, hindi gano'n. Never siya mag-work. Never siya magiging gano'n. Kailangan mo nag-review pa rin ng outputs. Okay? And then, aside from the constitution and bylaws na gagawin ng editorial board, the board may take into account the pertinent laws and the policies of the university and shall set its own editorial policies. Stated din yun guys sa RA 7079 na dapat ang isang student publication may editorial policies na ginawa ng editorial board. So, for you guys, the editorial board ng The Rizalite, kasama ni Sir Z, kayo yung gagawa ng editorial policies ng The Rizalite. No? Ano ba yung laman ng editorial policies? Ano yung pagkakaiba na sa Constitution? Later, i-discuss natin. But first, we have to discuss yung positions sa editorial board. First is the editor-in-chief. The editor-in-chief is the chief executive ng publication. Lahat dadaan sa'yo. Lahat dapat alam mo. Alam mo dapat kung paano mag-news writing, alam mo dapat kung paano mag-science writing, editorial writing, sports writing, kahit alin man doon. Kahit alin doon. Kasi yun yung trabaho ng editor-in-chief eh. Literal, dapat lahat alam mo. No? Next is associate editor-in-chief. In case na hindi available, si editor-in-chief, ikaw yung papalit. So, essential din na yung maturity ng isang editor-in-chief, meron din si associate editor-in-chief. Kailangan okay yung relationship nyo. But at the same time, hindi rin pwede na oo ng oo si associate editor-in-chief kay EIC. Bakit? Kailangan kasi may devil's advocate pagdating sa publication. Yes, you have your technical advisor, but then huwag yung iasa sa kanya yung lahat. No? You have your own judgment, and then i-release mo lang sa kanya. Hindi pwedeng sa kanya lahat sasalo ng decision making. Again, the editorial board is decision-making body of the publication. Hindi lang sa technical advisor. No? Hindi lang sa school paper advisor ang mag-decide. Parte kayo ng decision making. Okay? Next is the managing editor. Si managing editor basically handles the finances pagdating sa tertiary level. But then, since nasa secondary level pa lang kayo, syempre, dadaan rin yung technical advisor sa school principal, yung finances. For the secondary level, trabaho ni managing editor yung office. Sino si managing editor ng The Rizalite? Ito po ba? Ma'am, trabaho mo yung office. Okay, the equipment, sa'yo nakasalala yun. So, as I mentioned, si editorial board, sa'yo yung gagawa editorial policies. Yung sa editorial policies, nandun yung guidelines for proper use ng equipment. Pwede ba siyang hinamin for academic purposes or dapat for coverage lang? Yung office, yung cleaners, may penalties ba? Ikaw yung mag-decide mo. So yung under yun, it's your job. Next is the section and chiefs. No? For the writers, we have news editor, features editor, and sports editor. Si features, pwede pa natin siya hatiin. If you can remember earlier, yung human interest, di ba nahahati siya? May science, may food, may tech. Pwede natin siyang hatiin. Si features editor to different sections. So, pasok din dito yung literary. No? The next is si chief photojournalist. Siyempre, lahat ng photos dadaan sa kanya. Kailangan si chief photojournalist very knowledgeable sa paggamit na not just ng camera but also editing softwares. No? Lightroom, gano'n. But then minimal editing lang. Kailangan very knowledgeable si chief photojournalist kung ano lang yung mga angles na hinahanap natin sa journalism. Hindi pwede yung mga creative shots. Definitely. Pagdating sa broadsheet. Yes, contest, pwede, siguro. Depende sa judge. But pagdating sa broadsheet or any na ilalabas mo na naka-paper, hindi pwede yung creative shots. Unless feature section siya, pwede. Next is the chief illustrator. For sure, yung mga cartoonists natin dito, magaling na kayo with the use of pen, marker, pencil, but also you can explore yung digital. May naggawa akong ba dito? Or the drawing through Photoshop? Sino yung mga cartoonists? The next is the chief layout artist. Of course, kanya dadaan yung broadsheet before siya i-check ng ASO and ng EIC yung broadsheet. Si chief layout artist yung bahala mag-design ng formats, ng broadsheet kung may kailangan i-edit na rebranding or rebranding. Kailangan na natin chief layout artist. Siya yung mag-lead dito. And then, hindi ko na nalagay dito, but then, ito kasi yung mga usual. positions in the section of head and chiefs. Pero like what I said kanina, journalism is evolving. So kaya tayo may social media manager, pwedeng magkaroon ng office manager para makatulong si managing editor. No? And then sa ibang news outlets, marami pa yan. Hindi lang news editor, features editor. Talagang per section, may editor na nakatoka. So may desk editor pa. Hindi lang, so si desk editor, sakop niya lahat. Sakop lahat ni desk editor ang lahat. Next is the editorial policies. Editorial policies shall include but not limited to the frequency of publication. No? Pwede kayong maglabas ng broadsheet once per year, kaya twice, depende kung anong mapagkakasunduran ng editorial board. The manner of selecting articles, sino yung assigned sa ganitong beat, no? Sino yung assigned sa ganitong events. And then, even gagamitin yung platform, no? Kung Gdocs ba yan, Drive, whatever. Kailangan nakalagay sa editorial policies. And the next is the office cleanliness and use of equipment. I mentioned this earlier. Even yung smallest details, guys, kailangan nakalagay siya sa editorial policies kasi may sanctions ang editorial policies. If hindi mo nagawa yung duties mo, of course, kailangan may sanctions. And pwede siyang umabot from written reprimand, explain mo lang at kung nagawa yung trabaho mo, up to suspension. Hindi ka na natanggalin ka na sa publication. No? Kapag nag-accumulate yung mga offense na nagawa mo, pwede ka na tanggalin ng publication kasi hindi ka na napapakinabangan. Diba? Again, I understand students kayo, but then when you become student journalists, additional commitment siya, additional work for you guys. You know? So be mindful sa mga responsibilities, especially the editorial board. Kasi ang dami na pala ng balisa na yun. Imagine guys, ang cargo nyo. It's yung for the publication. No? So, para ma-enter ng mabuti yung the students, the admin, the alumni, sa inyo nakadepende. And then the roles of staff members. 1. Produce outputs for the publication. 2nd, accomplish tasks given by the editor or associate editor, editor-in-chief in connection to production of outputs. Now, siguro naisip nyo, boring, susunod lang pala ako eh. Hindi na ako pupunta ng meeting. Hindi na ako magpapakita sa EIC ko. Hindi na ako magpapakita sa technical advisor or sa school paper advisor kasi susunod lang pala ako eh. But hindi dapat yun yung mindset, guys. The mindset is, ako na yung susunod. No? Ako na yung susunod na member ng editorial boards. Yung mga first year sa mga second year, ako na yung susunod. Kayo yung susunod. Kayo yung papalit. So, kailangan, kapag dumating yung time na kayo na yung nandun sa position, ready kayo. Ready kayo to run the publication. Ready kayo to decide for the publication. Ready kayo sa responsibilities. Again, ready kayo, mature enough kayo, and yung skills, malaking bagay din. Kailangan, kapag andun ka na sa level ng EIC, ni ASP, ni managing, or anyone from the editorial board, yung skills mo, better na rin. Hindi pwedeng yung skills mo nung junior staff ka pa lang or contributor ka pa lang, yun pa rin yung same skills na ipapakita mo sa time na member ka na ng editorial board. Kailangan nag-improve. No? Kailangan visible yung improvement sa gawa. And hindi lang basta sa gawa, guys. Even kung paano nyo i-run yung publication. Kailangan, hindi lang kasi broadsheets yung pwede gawin yung publication. Pwede rin yung mag-conduct ng seminars, ng events. Diba? Kailangan nag-act talaga sa publication. Hindi ka lang student journalist kapag DSPC, hindi ka lang student journalist kapag may competition. or kapag kailangan mo yung broadsheet, student journalist ka araw-araw. Buong school year, student journalist kayo. Remember that. Next is story development from covering rin. Like what I said earlier, kada journalist may beat yan, may territory yan. So, from the police, market, finance, defense, justice, sa umabot ka na sa presidential. That's kung professional ka, ay turn pro, that's the goal. The Malacanang beat. No? Kasi sa Malacanang, guys, there's a specific room for the Malacanang press corps. That's the best of the best. No? Nandun yung mga best of the best. Yung mga pinaka-marunong journalist sa country, nasa Malacanang press corps. So, if gusto nyo maging pro, yun yung EA, yung Malacanang. So yun, and then kada beat, may iba't ibang departments pa yan. For example, the finance beat, nasa finance beat ka na. Ano yung mga departments na nasa finance beat? Yung department namin, Department of Budget Management, Department that handles the national budget, Department of Finance, Secretary Ralph Recto, Department of National Economic Development Authority, sabi na 64 pesos daw yung kailangan ng bawat Pilipino para mabuhay araw-araw. Para makain araw-araw. No? Police beat, NBI, mga local police stations natin. Mga regional police stations, lahat ng pataas ng pataas. Kada beat pataas ng pataas yan. So sa executive, syempre, VP, President, Senate, Senate, may sariling press corps sa Senate, Congress, may sariling press corps sa Senate, and even sa mga sections. For example, sa sports, no? Ikaw basketball beat ka, ikaw sports beat ka, ikaw volleyball beat ka, no? Iba-iba pa yun. And as you guys know, sa sports, may iba't ibang leagues pa, right? So kung basketball beat ka, sakop mo NBA, sakop mo PBA, no? Sakop mo KBL, mga Pinoy imports tayo doon. Basically, yun, lahat. Paakit lang siya ng paakit. And then, once makapagsulat, yung mga beat reporters or yung mga journalists natin, kapag for print siya, ang deadline is 8 p.m. Kapag daily basis to. Ang deadline ng mga journalists, 8 p.m. Actually, 8 p.m. pinapadali ko na yung mga yun eh. Kasi 8 p.m. yung start ng printing ng mga broadsheets sa mga tabloids. 8 p.m. ang start. No? So, 5 p.m. nangangarap na yung mga yan. Pinapagalitan ng mga editors yun pagdating ng 7 p.m. Yung article mo, asa na? Magpiprint na tayo. No? And that's why may mga regional stations din. Si Philippine Star, sa Manila Bulletin. Kasi yung mismo layout ng broadsheet, pinatransfer yun before 8 p.m. Pinatransfer sa kanila yun, I don't know, maybe digitally, gano'n. As long as hindi siya maabot by that sa mga regional stations, 8 p.m. ang printing. No? And then after that, ang distribution nun is starting 12 a.m. No? So habang tulog yung mga tao, yung balita, may kilos, nilalakad yung balita. No? Until 7 a.m. Yun ang distribution sa mga outlets natin. So may mga bilang outlets dyan. Distribution is 12 to 7 a.m. Now guys, nag-matter pa ba si newspaper? Tingnan nyo. Kasi for sure kayo guys, ang main source of news nyo, digital na, right? Phones, laptops, yun ang main source of information nyo eh. And then, siguro, second na lang makakapunod yung TV sa bahay. No? Tingin nyo, nagmamatter pa rin yung print. Sir, tingin mo, nagmamatter pa rin yung print.
Yes po. Kasi hindi naman sila nag-access po sa technology.
lahat guys may access sa technology. Hindi lahat ng lugar sa Pilipinas may signal. Last year, we went to Tawi-Tawi. May signal guys. Ang mode of journalism is radio. No? Walang phones, walang signal yung phone. Hindi yung messenger, hindi yung mag-fiber, hindi yung mag-transmit ng kahit anong information. Radio lang yung kaya. No? So, aside from radio, newspaper, syempre. May mga hindi naabot yung, even yung television natin. So, importante pa rin si print. Actually, guys, malaki yung bayad sa to be in print. Hinahabol yan ng mga public servants natin. Gusto nila nasa front page sila. Malaki pa rin yung influence ni print media until now. To the point na gusto ng mga politicians, yung mukha nila nasa harap ng broadsheet. Kasi nga, may mga places na broadsheets lang yung nakakaabot, tabloids lang yung nakakaabot, radio lang yung nakakaabot. No? So, yun, 7 distributed na siya sa mga outlets. And then, next, how to interview sources. Why interviews are important. Qualities to obtain for an effective journalistic interview. Again, katulad ng sabi ko sa inyo guys, the biggest chunk ng journalism is nasa gathering ng information, nasa collecting, nasa beat hunting, and kasama doon yung interview. And natin ito, sa paggawa ng mga broadsheets. First, why are interviews important? Nagpunta tayo sa kanina, interviews make stories real. They give news a voice. No? Kapag yung news article mo, walang quotation, boring yun. Parang kinuwento mo lang. Diba? Parang kinuwento mo lang sa friend mo. Ganun yung dating. Pero kapag may quotation, it makes your article stronger. No? May voice siya. Mas nagiging totoo. No? Next, interviews provide different perspectives that shed light on the complexities of events, issues, and narratives. Now guys, when you do interviews, syempre, hindi ka naman pupunta sa battlefield na walang bako na armas. Diba? So, do your pre-interview research ka about the topic, research ka about the person. No? But then, hindi naman lahat maintindihan mo agad. For example, sobrang complex ng topic, hindi yan maintindihan ka agad. No? Even someone na nagpa-practice na for that beat for so long, hindi lahat kabisa. So, kapag nag-interview ka, mas naiintindihan mo. You can ask follow-up questions. You can ask yung mga confidential information kapag nag-interview ka. Mas naiintindihan mo as a writer, basically. Mas naiintindihan mo kung ano yung sinusulat. Next is, one effective interview can lead a journalist to a completely different story and eventually generate more interesting stories. So, ito kwento ko kanina. Yung interview ko na umabot ng 1 hour and 45 minutes. Kailangan ba yung 1 hour and 45 minutes exclusive ko sa isang article? No. Kaya siya umabot ng 1 hour and 45 minutes kasi naging comfortable yung interview. No? Naka-share siya, na-overshare siya basically. So, kapag na-overshare, gawa ka ng another article about it. Diba? Huwag nyo lang squeeze sa isang article kasi binabayaran even yung space sa dyaryo. Kapag nag-turn pro na kayo, the reason bakit sobrang iksi lang yung space sa dyaryo is lahat yung may bayad guys. Cut is may bayad. No? So kapag nakakita ka ng advertisement sa broadsheet tabloid na malaki binabay sa media outlet. Next is the basic principles of interviewing. Number 1, ito yung pinakailangan tandaan nyo guys, always communicate with a balance of humanity, ethics, and accuracy. For example, it's about the loss of a person. No? Ipakita mo na naintindihan mo yung pagkawala ng tao. Basically, kailangan empathetic tayo. No? Kahit gano'n natin kahit yung tao, for example, kailangan andun pa rin yung humanity. No, hindi pwedeng mawala yung humanity sa pagiging journalist. No, kahit objective. No, of course, you want to be accurate, you want to be objective. No, but kailangan din yung humanity, andun yung ethics. No? Next, when you are a journalist, the story is not about you. No, mag-interview ka, hindi pwedeng mas marami kang sinasabi kaysa dun sa i-interview mo. Siya na yung kwentuhan mo. No, huwag kang maliligaw. No, it's okay to have guide questions. Before kayo mag-interview, prepare guide questions. Pero hindi pwedeng umabot dun sa point na mas marami nang sinasabi yung interviewer kaysa sa interview niya. A quote from Ms. Karen Davila: all human beings have some sort of bias, but it's trained to find those biases and to ask the right questions to get to the truth. No? Katulad na sinasabi ko kanina, alam ko may opinion kayo, alam ko may bias kayo, sabihin natin watchdog ka pa ng government or you guys, for campus activists, kayo watchdog ng school. No? So, as much as we want to protect the image of the school, syempre, okay naman ito, diba? Mag-reflect yan with the reason, for example. You have to be mindful dun sa pagsusulat. Next is, again, listen more than you speak. Control the interview but never interrupt. No? Hindi lang siya yung example lang dito is yung radio and TV. Ito sa number 3. No? Yung never interrupt. Ang TV and radio lang yung may exception dito. Bakit? Kasi may hinahabol tayo na running time. No? Bawat program, may running time yan. So, kapag si interviewee masyado siya maraming sinasabi, okay lang ito pa. Pero if may interview ka, naka-record lang, casual interview lang siya, never interrupt, no? Build connection. Kailangan mo ipakita mo sa kanya na naiintindihan mo siya, nakikinig ka sa kanya, habang pinivisualize mo sa utak mo yung who, what, when, where, and how. No? And the next is be patient. No? Huwag magmamadali. No? You can ask follow-up questions. Kasi hindi naman lahat ng ini-interview natin, sasabihin agad kung anong gusto natin malaman. Hindi lahat sasabihin kung anong gusto natin marinig. So be patient, no? Know when to pull the trigger. Yung mga controversial questions, know when to ask them. No? Be patient lang. For example, may isang controversial person ka na interviewin. Dumating sa meeting place. Yan. Wala rin na, sir, nagnakaw ka daw. Ganon, talagang ma-off-scene nyo yun, hindi niya nasasabihin yung details ng story. Kailangan, sir, yung sa biyahe, traffic ba? Kamusta yun yun na? No? Kailangan makuha nyo yung trust nila. Kasi hindi yan magsasabi ng crucial information na hindi nagtitiwala sa inyo yan. Kasi ang isip ng tao guys, ay media to. No? Ang media, minsan, nasa feeling tayo, feeling na isang media kung minsan. Kaya, kailangan mo ipakita sa interview na, ay, no po, kakampi niyo po ako para I'm here to tell your story. Ganun. So, kahit yung tao, be patient lang. Next, tips for an effective interview. Again, interview and follow-up research. So, syempre, pwede pupunta sa battlefield na wala tayong art. And after the interview, follow-up research. No? May kinling si interview mo, yung interview may kinling siya ng isang bagay. Research mo kung totoo. Kasi baka mamaya mag-relay ko, hindi pala siya factual. No? For example, name ni Department of Agriculture Secretary na last year, bumaba yung presyo ng bigas by an average of 25%. Yung name niya sa interview, at ka lang nag-base. Pero ang actual record is 18%. So, mali na yung article mo. Kailangan mo follow research pa rin. Next is yun nga, visualize who, what, when, where, how, and why. And then kapag may gap sa mga questions yun, that's where you ask yung follow-up questions. Number 3, treat interviews as conversations. Do not pull the trigger immediately. Yan, yun yung sinasabi ko kanina na maging nice ka, maging polite kayo when asking someone for an interview, no? I-treat nyo siya as normal conversation. No, hindi pwedeng magmukhang too formal, too professional. Kailangan nyo talaga na. Parang ito, hindi parang hindi pa rin yung sarili dun sa interview. Kailangan middle part lang, no? Maging conversational lang, hindi sobrang formal. Unless, press con yan. Doon ka lang magiging too formal, press con yan. Next is maintain relationship and never break confidentiality. No? After the interview, kamustahin mo kung nakauwi na. No? Kamustahin mo after the interview, mo kung may pupuntahan pa siya after. No? Hindi pwedeng after nasagutin yung final question mo, sige sir, thank you, ingat, yes na ako ha. Parang gano'n, ulat pa ako eh. Hindi pwedeng gano'n. Maintain relationship, no? Kasi hindi natin masasabi kung kailan niya siya kakailanganin ulit. For example, yung coach na, let's say, volleyball, si Sir Joel. I don't know ba si Sir Joel pa rin na coach. But then, yun, for example, interview mo siya. And then, for sure, kailangan mo ulit siya sa regional, no? Sa palarong pambansa, sa Clara. Diba? So, you must maintain good relationship sa mga na-interview mo. Kahit gano'n ka negative yung nagawa nila. No? Kasi hindi alam kung kailan siya kakailanganin ulit. And then, of course, never break confidentiality. Takal na natin ganyan, kasama yan sa trabaho na pag-iwing student journalist. Next is the do's and don'ts. First, journalism is evolving. Always find ways to be a better storyteller. For campus communications, ano pa ba yung pwede natin gawin to improve yung service natin? Take note guys, public service, public trust. No? Paano pa tayo makapag-service sa mga estudyante? No? Again, bragging rights, maamas pa tayo. For the word natin, kapag verification, cool ka, kaysa parang dyan. But then, it's service guys, para lang siyang politics. No? You should always think of ways kung paano kaya ma-improve yung quality ng service natin sa mga estudyante. Pwede gawa kayo ng visa like TikTok, if that's possible. I don't know if it's possible, pero around campus person, I think yung mga panggat, diba? Sa TikTok, students. The next, never be complacent. It is a battlefield out there. Ito para sa mga magkakapit. Be nice, but huwag din maging complacent. No? You train for that. No? Battlefield siya. No? Hanap tayo ng middle ground sa pagiging nice, tsaka sa pagiging hindi complacent. Kasi baka mga best time details eh. No? For example, record mo lahat ng nangyayari sa press con from the start mo of the program, the event. Record mo. No? Kasi hindi natin alam kung yung mamimiss na topic or information. Ano siya information na sasabihin ng host, ng judge, or whoever yung sasalita. Hindi ito complacent. Check your facts. Sa mga sulat sa broadsheet, labas sa broadsheet, check your facts. Of course, we can always publish erratum. No? Even social media, we can always post erratum. Erratum or yung parang i-correct natin information. But then, hanggang saan lang tayo abutin ng erato. Remember, for the
siguro hindi nakalain. Hindi nakalain. Pero bakit? So, focus check yung paano social media.
I know possible na mag-publish din national issues, especially national issues guys. Hindi natin masabi na i-verify yung facts natin. Of course, syempre, proximity-wise, hindi tayo sa marami, tayo sa marami. We never know can you act like this before natin. So always check your facts. And then have courage, but be accountable. No, I know some of you, siguro, sa editorial board, may plans nila for the students. No, be bold sa mga ideas, no, gusto gumawa ng activities, events for them. Be bold sa mga ideas nyo. But be accountable, syempre. Especially sa mga magko-compete. No, I know, gusto nyo manalo, but be accountable sa actions nyo. Pumasok pa rin kayo sa school, ay pumasok pa rin kayo sa classes nyo. Okay? Huwag nagsiskip ng classes kung hindi naman kailangan, hindi naman intensive training. Dahil lang gusto mo manalo, sabay ka, babasa, articles. No guys, student, ano ba yung student? And then last one is, the change starts with you. No? Like what I said, may stigma tayo gusto kong bagay na pagdating ng high school level, para pa rin tayong elementary. Sa campus publication tayo, ang tinitignan lang natin is competition. Yes, of course, naman, syempre sino ba namang ayaw mo manalo, diba? But then, mas malaki na yung journalism kapag sa high school level. No? And we want to break that stigma. No? Hindi ka lang student journalist kapag may DSPC. No? Araw-araw kang student journalist. Palagi kong ipapaalala sa inyo guys. Kasi gusto natin sa batch nyo na mag-start. No, na after this batch, no, yung susunod na batch ng the Rizalite, hindi na tinitignan yung campus journalism as competition lang. Or first, extracurricular. Gawin natin yung disiplina ng mga sarili natin. No, na pagpasok, pagtapak natin ng school. So, journalist ako, may responsibilities ako. Hindi lang sa sarili ko, hindi lang sa publication, but to this institution. To this institution, to the alumni, to the parents, my fellow students. No? I want to, hopefully, after ng batch na ito, mag-break natin yung stigma na yun. No? So, that's all. Thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate everyone for coming here today. I know students, mahirap gumising ng maaga, especially Saturday. Very exhausted from the home. And I would like to take this opportunity na rin to thank Sir Zeke. No? Actually, last year pa namin pinaplan ni Sir Zeke na gumawa ng journalism summit. Nag-message si Sir Zeke sa akin, but may mga typhoons, hindi natutuloy. And finally, eto na nagawa na natin ng journalism summit. Hopefully, this will not be the last. No? Mga susunod pang journalism summit. And I hope mas marami tayo next time. So, you guys, thank you so much. And tara, wala tayong pangalan sa DSPC.